Hi everyone, Danny here with Ground State Tarot, coming to you with the final Lunar New Year Fire Horse main energy for 2026 reading for ESFP entertainer types based on the 16 personality test, which I will include a link to when I post this video up on YouTube. And as a reminder, the Fire Horse energy is about taking bold action, inspired action, a forceful direction without teetering into erratic energy, impulsive energy, chaos, rebellion, etc. It's a very propellant kind of energy this year that can help you get over the hump of any sort of obstacles or situations or conundrums that you're dealing with. But again, it's also important to keep in mind that this is very hot and heavy energy that you need to work with very intentionally. And so, as a reminder, the first card that I will be reading will be your optimal energy. Second card is your suboptimal energy. Third is the point of stagnation. Fourth is the way through. Fifth will be the advice for assertive types. And the sixth card will be advice for the turbulent types. So we begin your reading with loss. Allow yourself to grieve. And the Great Pumpkin from the Peanuts deck, which I'll get into at the end of the reading. So with loss as the anchor, this year, and by the way, I want to acknowledge, it's coming through that you are indeed dealing with something that is weighing heavy on you, something that is painful, disappointing, frustrating. It's definitely causing you to feel defeated. And when we find ourselves in those kinds of situations in life, there is a place for just sitting with that feeling of paralysis, feeling of stagnation, instead of trying to distract yourself from it or pretend it's not happening. There's a real power in being still, in becoming an observer, becoming unsentimental to the reality, and just allowing what is to be. There's power in allowing your intuition to direct the way through when logic seems to betray you. That's the whole reason loss feels so heavy. It doesn't make sense to our logical mind. And so it's important for you to honor the space created, the space left in the wake of this loss. The suboptimal point is giving in to the disappointment, to the frustration, to the feeling of paralysis, so much so that you become a martyr. So much so that you truly become paralyzed and unable to see a way through. Why do I say that? Because the point of stagnation is giving me the energy of you being unable to hold yourself accountable and hold others accountable in certain situations. This might be a situation where you really had nothing to contribute to the oppression that you're being put through now. And in other situations, you might have contributed. Either way, it's important for you to acknowledge when accountability is necessary, whether it's from yourself or from an external source. And it's important for you to not give in to the martyr mentality and throw your hands up and say, well, there's nothing I can do. Because the way through this stuck feeling, this feeling of there's not much I can do because life is just kind of happening to me, is quite the opposite. It's taking the wheel and deciding to start driving your life by reconnecting with the things that used to give you a sense of vision, a sense of inspiration, a sense of magnetism, a sense of charisma, a sense of self-confidence, reawakening the fire within you, regenerating it. The salamander has the capacity to regenerate its tail if it gets cut off, right? So there's this sense of being able to tap into your power to regenerate your fire after this point of indecision, impasse, uncertainty, feeling blinded to the options in front of you. Blinded. But all you need to do is open your eyes to realize that you have more at your disposal than you might be willing to admit. You just have to open your eyes. There's this really interesting theme here of keeping those eyes closed or obstructed, right, with this cone of shame. And so it really is about keeping those eyes open and accepting the reality of the situation for what it is, nothing more, nothing less, but holding out hope. The advice for the assertive types is the star. After the destruction of the tower, the pain of the tower, the inconvenience is an understatement of the tower, comes the star. So you have to hold faith that after whatever loss, disappointment, deception, frustration, lack, after that comes hope, renewal, faith, healing, wishes being granted, miracles even. And it's important for you to remember that upon rekindling your own flame, your internal flame, to express it externally, to lead confidently so from that fire, from that reignited fire, you tap into this ability to really usher in miraculous, uncanny wish fulfillment that is hard earned. This is not the energy of you sitting on your butt, twiddling your thumbs, hoping for positive outcomes. No, this is you putting in the work, putting in the presence, putting in the stillness, not running from situations, not deflecting, not distracting, but staying steady and grounded and present. Why? Because the Four of Wands, as the advice for the turbulent types, is telling me that you have a home. You have a foundation. You have more of a solid footing than you might be willing to acknowledge, willing to give credit to, willing to admit that you're a part of. But it's there. And it's balanced. It is indeed fair and equitable. And any feeling of loss or lack or losing goes away. It goes away because the faith that you're able to tap into when you're surrounded by your tribe, by loved ones, by people who will celebrate you no matter the losses, no matter the disappointments, people who will always welcome you as you are. With the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, this is absolutely telling me that this is about remaining connected to your spirit, connected to your heart, connected to your faith, filling your cup during moments of sadness, moments of confusion, filling your own cup by believing that there is indeed a higher power, a higher guidance, a North Star that you can look toward when things get dark or bleak. And with the Great Pumpkin to round out the reading, I'm already familiar with this one, so this is a very powerful one to have gotten with this particular reading. Here we go, 75. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. A divisive issue for some, but as Linus and Charlie Brown remind us, we cannot be separated by denominational differences. While many seem to not believe in the large mystical pumpkin that rises from the pumpkin patch every year with a sack of toys to deliver to the world's children, Linus simply chalks this up to less publicity. The Great Pumpkin reminds us to stay true to our beliefs no matter what or no matter who tries to get you down. Quite simply, what can go wrong when a few amazing people have your back, even if it's just you and the girl who calls you Sweet Babu. So, again, remembering that you have a community, you have a tribe who will accept you just as you are. You don't have to perform any martyrdom. You don't have to be ashamed of holding yourself accountable or others accountable, because when you find yourself in this Four of Wands environment, you know that everyone who is part of this community can be indeed held accountable to the communal expression of this celebration. So remember, keep the faith, stay steady in the stillness, hold your ground, your foundation steady, keep your heart open, and things will work themselves out exactly as they should.